What is up, everybody? Jester here, and today is finally the day. The community expedition rewards are finally done on tier 5, where now we can go and get the Liquidator's right arm, which includes the Flamethrower. So now we're going to have all 4 pieces where we can go build this and do a little fight and test it out. But I think we're going to compare it to its other 2 predecessors as well, just in short, so we get kind of an idea of what is actually happening and if anything's making a difference. There's a lot to cover. Let's get into it. To get the Liquidator right arm, you just need to go to the Quicksilver vendor now, and you can do this one of a couple of ways. Number one, you have to go into your expedition and claim that 5th tier optional milestone. I don't have that available because I came out of the expedition to do some testing, so I just went ahead and picked my Liquidator right arm up with Quicksilver, which you can also do if you didn't even want to play the expedition. But now we have everything we should need, all 4 parts, so we can go test everything and see which one's actually better and what kind of difference this thing makes. To keep the testing fair and simple, I'm just going to use the same upgrades for all 3 tests that I have, with the exception of if I do have upgrades that I need to put in, i.e. like the Flamethrower when it comes to the right arm of the Liquidator, we're going to put that in, obviously. So hopefully that's going to make a big difference for that one. But like I said, we want to do real science. As far as the setting for this test goes, I went ahead and just found a little whispering egg area here to where I think we can keep it the same for all 3. We're just going to fight a brood and see what happens. We just set up a little base right over there where we can kind of reload restore points, and we shouldn't have any trouble keeping the testing consistent and see what the damage rates are for all 3 different variants. To kick things off, I went ahead and grabbed the original Minotaur and started the fight. And mostly here, I want to mention that nothing here is min-maxed. This is just 3 S-Class upgrades when it comes to the cannon, and that's really the only weapon available to us here. So it seems to be doing the job just fine, with just the basic Minotaur skin and no additional perks. But we don't want to spend too much time on this because this is basically just our baseline fight to see if we're going to get better or worse with the different weapons going forward. Getting into the Sentinel variant of the Minotaur, we're going to, of course, have the hard frame body and the hard frame legs. This is going to give you some perks to get started with, minus 11% fuel usage as well as plus 25% on your booster tank. The left arm is actually going to provide a laser upgrade that works in conjunction with the right arm, which is the stun. And I don't know, I've never really tried this. Let's kind of go see how it works out. Getting into the actual fight, the first thing I noticed is the laser's just not all that effective. Now, it does knock them down and you can kind of keep on them, but you got to stay on one target for a very long time. And that put us at risk from the other targets because, as you know, these are multiple things. Now, I will say when you actually use the stun feature in conjunction with the laser, it works, but it's really clunky. It's really tough to get back onto the laser quick enough to actually do anything, but it almost insta-kills them at that point. So I think maybe if you took a few things off and just had those 2, it'd be a little easier to cycle, but it's a little convoluted. And to be honest with you, I think I'd just assume the cannon at this point because it was keeping them a little bit further at range where we really were never threatened at all. Now that we're on the Liquidator Minotaur, it was cool. We're going to be able to put the body on here, and then of course the left arm is going to be a stun just like the last one was, and the right arm of course is the Flamethrower where we can put in all of our upgrades. One of these, the best one we found, is even supercharged. But we ran into a pretty significant problem, and that is nowhere on my crafting list does it show the Liquidator legs. This was a pretty big problem. The first place I went was back to the Quicksilver vendor, and you can clearly see here that it's an already owned item, and I had that before I ever came out of the expedition, and spamming it still didn't get it done. I then went over and checked with Percy's just to make sure there was no technology that I just kind of missed and needed to be unlocked, and that doesn't seem to be the case. The last-ditch effort was to go back over to the other save where the expedition's still open, and even getting it there showed me that I got the recipe, but it didn't bring it back when it came back to this save. If there's something that I'm missing here, let me know in the comments, but for whatever reason, I cannot get the recipe to spawn for me. It doesn't come up as craftable. And I'm sure it's just another bug, and I think it's just super ironic that I keep finding these things every time I play the game, but that's not what I really want to get into discussion-wise today. Just know that I was able to go out and find another video that showed somebody installing these, so it's not an everybody problem, but it is a problem somehow. And the stats are exactly the same. It's minus 11% fuel consumption and plus 25% boost on both the Sentinel and on the Liquidator legs. At least knowing that the test was not compromised, we went ahead and set off. I mean, the main feature here is the flamethrower. And straight out of the gate, I noticed that this thing is just not really stopping anybody. These guys are attacking on us, and we're taking damage really, really at a high clip here for what the other fights were. I think the actual mining laser weapon was even better than this, just by itself. You would think that the damage over time that this should be doing, and upgrades indicate that it's doing, would be useful, but it doesn't really seem like you can get off of the one guy to go and attack others and let them burn to death, because they're still just going to attack you and basically kill you. I mean, this actually gets to the point to where I have to actually bail out because our shields are going down, and we got to rethink our process here. I got to tell you guys, just in this small sample size, this weapon needs a looking at, because this is not very good if you're asking me. In the end, sadly, this just isn't very good, at least not out of the gate here. There's always potential for them to come back in and buff a few things. Maybe the upgrades take a buff and they kill a little bit quicker. It's possible. I mean, I've seen a history where they don't go back and flesh out really good ideas, i.e. squadrons and pets and things like that, but that doesn't mean that they haven't done good things in the past by upgrading and buffing things, which they have with other upgrades and weapons. So there is a definite possibility this still could happen. But as it stands right now, you're better off with the mining laser. It keeps them off of you. The flamethrower, they just get too close, and you're going to take a lot of damage, and it just doesn't have enough punch to knock out the threat before they're doing more damage to you than you're doing to them. And, you know, it's kind of sad because everybody was really looking forward to this, and it's really upsetting that what we've already had in the past is better than the new drip, and I wish they could get that right for a change. Other than that, guys, again, don't want to be too controversial about this, but as it stands right now, don't waste too much time on it. Go play with it if you want to, but it's just not ready. Hopefully you guys like this kind of content. If you do, hit the like button to the video and subscribe, and go watch the rest of the No Man's Sky stuff. There's good information in there that I've been sharing for well over a year now. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching to the end. We'll see you soon. Bye.